Welcome to the Lose Weight, Live Life podcast. If you're someone who would do anything to lose weight, yet finds it impossible to stick to a diet, to eat less, or just what you think you should, this podcast is for you. I am your host, certified life and weight mindset coach Clair MACKENZIE. Listen in to learn how to stop overeating, lose weight for the last time, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, all without diet deprivation and self-sabotage. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the second of this two-part podcast series on stress. So in the first episode, we explored the impact of stress on our lives, particularly as women juggling busy schedules, responsibilities, and the many expectations we place on ourselves. We looked at how stress often creeps in subtly, building through the day-to-day pressures, and how it can tip us from feeling in control to feeling overwhelmed in an instant. We also talked about the role of self-judgment, how chronic stress affects your relationship with food, and why big life challenges don't always trigger the same patterns as low-level ongoing stress. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I encourage you to start there as it lays the groundwork for what we're covering today. You'll find reflections on why we experience stress the way that we do, and some information about the psychological and physiological factors that influence how we respond to stress. So then moving on to this episode, we're shifting our focus. Now that we've unpacked the why and the how, we're going to move towards the what. What can you do to build resilience against stress? What tools and strategies can you use to proactively manage stress before it takes hold? And when stress does appear, how can you respond in ways that help you feel calmer and more in control, rather than defaulting to old habits like stress eating? We're also going to look at what to do if eating has been your main way of coping with stress up until this point. So let's dive in and get started. And I want to start with exploring emotional resilience. So emotional resilience is our ability to adapt and bounce back when life throws challenges our way. It's not about avoiding stress or always feeling positive. It's about responding to difficult situations in a way that helps you recover and move forward. Think of it as your internal toolkit for navigating the ups and downs of life. While some people may seem naturally more resilient, the good news is that emotional resilience is a key that you can develop and strengthen over time. So, in the context of life stress, emotional resilience acts as a buffer. It allows you to maintain perspective and avoid feeling overwhelmed when faced with challenge. Without it, stress can quickly spiral, affecting your mood, your behaviour, and even your physical health. Emotional resilience will help you make thoughtful, measured decisions rather than reacting impulsively or falling into patterns that don't serve you, such as self-criticism or stress eating. So, for example, imagine you've had a tough day at work, followed by a family disagreement. Without emotional resilience, you might internalize these events. You might find yourself saying things like, "I'm not good enough," or "Why is everything going wrong?" You might reach for food or shut down to cope, leaving the underlying stresses unresolved. But with emotional resilience, you might instead think something along the lines of, "This was a hard day, but it doesn't define me," and then take intentional steps to decompress, perhaps by going for a walk, calling a friend, or practicing deep breathing. Okay, so here are some ways you can help build your emotional resilience capacity or emotional resilience skills. First, you can reframe your perspective. One of the cornerstones of resilience is how you interpret life's challenges. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable obstacles, you can explore viewing them as opportunities to learn or grow. So, for example, if you miss a deadline at work, instead of berating yourself, ask yourself, what can I do differently next time to feel more prepared? Another aspect of building emotional resilience is to cultivate self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness when things go wrong. Resilience isn't about being perfect. It's about recovering gracefully. When you feel the urge to criticize yourself, pause and consider what you might say to a close friend in the same situation. Number 3, you can strengthen your support network. Resilient people don't face stress alone. Building connections with friends, family, or even a professional coach or counsellor can provide invaluable support. Talking things through often helps you see solutions that you haven't previously seen. You can also learn to develop healthy coping mechanisms, such as engaging in activities that help you process and release stress in a constructive way. It could be movement, we're going to talk more about that in just a moment, journaling, and also mindfulness. They can all play a role. If you notice yourself reaching for less helpful habits like overeating or withdrawing, kind of shutting yourself away, then pay attention and observe that with compassion, and then think, okay, what are some healthier alternatives that I can explore here? And then also practicing emotional regulation. We're going to talk more about this, but learning to manage strong emotions is key. Techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, or visualizing a calm place can help you regain control in stressful moments. So let's look at another example. Picture this. You've had a long day, and as you rush to catch your train home, the doors close just as you arrive. Without emotional resilience, your immediate reaction might be to spiral into frustration or self-blame. Why didn't I leave work earlier? Why didn't I give myself more time? I always mess things up. If you take this approach, you might find that you're stewing on this for the rest of the evening, letting it sour your mood and affect how you interact with others. But with a more emotionally resilient approach, the same scenario plays out differently. You might feel slightly disappointed, and you'd recognize that it wasn't a reflection of your worth or capability. So you might just be thinking, this is frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. I'll catch the next one and use the extra time to listen to a podcast or do some breathing exercises. The stress still exists, but you've managed it without letting it take over your emotions, or more importantly, your evening. By working on emotional resilience, you're equipping yourself with tools to handle life's inevitable challenges with greater ease. It doesn't mean that stress is going to disappear, but it does mean that you can navigate it with more grace, more balance and confidence. And over time, this can transform how you experience and respond to the world around you. I also think it's useful to consider all of this in context of the mindset model, a framework created by Brooke Castillo of the Life Coach School. If you've not heard me talk about the mindset model before, you can check out podcast episode number 2, which is where I first mention it in this episode, which is called What is a Weight Loss Mindset? The mindset model works by breaking down any situation into 5 key components: circumstances, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. Circumstances are neutral facts, things happening around you, and your thoughts about those circumstances create your feelings, which then drive your actions and ultimately lead to your results. Now, when stress arises, the way you think about the situation plays a crucial role in how resilient you feel. So let's take an example. Imagine you've been given this unexpected and tight deadline at work. The deadline itself is the neutral circumstance. Without resilience, your thoughts might be, I'll never get this done, or this is so unfair. And these thoughts would likely generate feelings of panic or frustration, which could lead to avoidance of doing the work or rushing through the task. The result being increased stress and a sense of failure. Whereas with emotional resilience and the mindset model, you can shift your approach. The circumstance, the tight deadline, doesn't change, but your thoughts might. So that instead of defaulting to negativity, you could reframe it. This is challenging, but I've handled tight deadlines before. Or I can prioritize and do my best with the time that I have. These thoughts generate more constructive feelings, such as determination or focus, or just feeling capable. And as a result, your actions might involve calmly breaking down the task into manageable steps, leading to a better outcome. Using the mindset model isn't about forcing yourself to think positively or ignoring stress. It's about recognizing the thoughts that are driving your feelings and choosing ones that serve you better. Over time, this practice strengthens your emotional resilience because it allows you to approach stress with greater awareness and control. Okay, here are some practical steps that you can work through to apply the mindset model for emotional resilience. Number 1, pause and identify the circumstance. Start by clearly defining what's happening. Strip away emotional language and focus on the facts. For example, instead of saying everything is going wrong, pinpoint the specific event causing stress, such as, I have a delayed project. Number 2, examine your thoughts. Notice what you're telling yourself about the situation. Are these thoughts helpful? Are they based on assumptions or fears? Ask yourself if there's another perspective that might serve you better. Number 3, observe your feelings. Acknowledge how your thoughts are making you feel. Are these feelings supporting you or are they fueling stress? Remember, feelings are valid, but they don't have to dictate your actions. Number 4, choose intentional actions. Decide how you want to respond. If your default reaction is to procrastinate or vent, pause and consider an alternative that aligns with the outcome you want to create. And then number 5, reflect on the results. Over time, notice how shifting your thoughts impacts the results you achieve. This reflection reinforces your ability to approach stressful situations with resilience and clarity. There's nothing better than seeing tangible benefits and outcomes to encourage you to fully adopt a practice that works for you. Each time you pause to examine your thoughts and choose a more supportive response, you're going to be building that muscle of resilience. You're going to be noticing that situations that once felt overwhelming start to feel more manageable. You're going to approach challenges with greater confidence, knowing you have the tools to navigate them. And the beauty of the mindset model is that it empowers you to take ownership of your emotional experience, even when the circumstances are beyond your control. And when you can manage your mind, it's easier to bounce back from stress more quickly, feel more grounded, and create results that align with the life you want to live. Next, I want to talk to you about proactive stress management. When it comes to managing life's stresses, you're going to want to help yourself be both proactive and reactive in response to life stresses. Both approaches have their place, but proactive stress management gives you a valuable advantage because it helps you reduce stress before it even arises. Being proactive means taking intentional steps to create habits, routines, and systems that support your well-being, even when things are going smoothly. It's about recognizing that stress is a part of life and preparing yourself to handle it in a way that aligns with your values and goals is going to be incredibly beneficial. Proactive strategies often involve practices like setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and establishing healthy routines that keep you grounded. Reactive stress management, on the other hand, comes into play when stress is already present. It's how you respond in the moment to manage or reduce the impact of stress on your thoughts, emotions, and actions. While reactive strategies like breathing exercises or grounding techniques are crucial for handling immediate challenges, they're only a part of the picture. The key difference is this: proactive stress management helps you stay ahead of stress, while reactive stress management helps you recover from it. By focusing on proactive approaches, you're building a foundation of emotional and physical resilience that allows you to handle life's inevitable curveballs with more ease and balance. So let's explore how you can incorporate proactive stress management into your life, giving you tools and strategies to reduce the frequency and intensity of stress. When you take time to prepare, you'll notice a difference in how you experience challenges and how quickly you bounce back from them. Okay, so here are some suggestions. Number 1, create space in your day-to-day life. Proactive stress management begins with recognizing the importance of space in your life. When every moment is filled, stress can creep in unnoticed, building over time. Creating intentional pauses in your day, a morning ritual, a mid-afternoon, taking a breath of fresh air, or an evening wind down, it gives your mind and body time to reset. It might be as simple as sitting with coffee without distractions or stepping outside for a few minutes to breathe fresh air. Number 2, prioritize on what truly matters. A significant source of stress comes from trying to do too much or focusing on things that don't align with what you value most. So take time to identify what does matter most to you. Your health, your relationships, your personal goals, whatever they may be, let those priorities guide your decisions. When you proactively set boundaries around your time and energy, you will notice a drop in unnecessary stressors. Number 3, plan ahead for known stressors. Some stress is predictable. Work deadlines, family obligations, upcoming life challenges. By anticipating these stressors, you can put systems in place to reduce their impact. So for example, if you know a busy week is coming, you might plan meals in advance, delegate tasks, or block off quiet time in your calendar to allow you to recharge. Number 4 is about strengthening your coping muscles. Proactive stress management is also about preparing your mind and body to handle stress when it arises. Activities like mindfulness, yoga, journaling, all build a reservoir of calm and focus that you can draw on in challenging moments. So think of these practices as preventative maintenance for your emotional well-being. Number 5 is regularly assess and adjust. Okay, so life changes and so do your stressors. So a proactive approach involves checking in with yourself and your life regularly. Are there commitments you've taken on that are no longer serving you? Is there a new source of stress you want to address? By reassessing and making adjustments, you can stay ahead of stress before it becomes overwhelming. Number 6, build a supportive environment. Your physical and emotional environment has a profound impact on your stress levels. Proactively creating spaces that feel calm and supportive can make a big difference. So declutter your home, establish routines that support your well-being, and surround yourself with people who uplift you rather than drain your energy. Number 7 is learn to say no. No is a complete sentence if you've not heard that before. And a part of proactive stress management is protecting your boundaries. It is okay to say no to requests or demands that don't align with your priorities and values. This isn't about being unkind. This is about ensuring your time and energy are spent on what matters most to you. Number 8, focus on building emotional resilience. While we'll explore emotional resilience in more detail, it's worth mentioning that proactively cultivating a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth can reduce the impact of stress. When you prepare yourself emotionally for setbacks, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed when they occur. Develop a self-care toolkit. Proactively managing stress means prioritizing self-care, not just in moments of overwhelm, but as a regular part of your life. This might include activities that nurture your body, such as exercise and healthy eating, and your mind, such as hobbies and relaxation practices. And number 10, celebrate your wins. Proactive stress management includes recognizing and celebrating your successes. When you take time to acknowledge what's going well, you build confidence and reinforce a positive mindset. And this proactive approach reminds you that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Okay, so just to reflect, incorporating these proactive strategies into your life will empower you to manage stress more effectively and help you build a sense of balance and control. All right then, so having considered all of that, let's now think about strategies for reacting to stress. So life doesn't always give us the luxury of planning for stress. Sometimes it arrives unannounced. It could be a frustrating conversation, a cascade of small things going wrong, whatever it is, a major life event. In those moments, knowing how to manage stress effectively can make a difference between feeling overwhelmed and staying calm. Managing stress in the moment is about taking control of your response when the pressure is on. You can always change the situation. You can't always change the situation, but you can choose how you react to it. And this doesn't come naturally to most of us, but it's something, again, that we can develop over time by practicing techniques that help us regain a sense of calm and clarity. Okay, so let's explore some ways that we can do this. The first one that I want to talk to you about is to ground yourself. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So grounding yourself is a practice that brings your focus back to the present moment, helping you feel stable and centered and in control during times of stress or overwhelm. It's about reconnecting with your body, your mind, and your surroundings, pulling yourself away from the chaos of racing thoughts or overwhelming emotions. Think of it as pressing the reset button when everything feels like it's spiraling out of control. When we're stressed or anxious, our body's fight or flight response is triggered. And this is a natural survival mechanism designed to protect us from danger, but in modern life, it's often activated by less immediate threats, like an argument or an unexpected challenge. And when this happens, our heart rate increases, our muscles tense, and our thoughts can become rapid or catastrophic, making it hard to think clearly. Grounding helps you break this cycle, helps you interrupt this cycle. It gives your body and brain a moment to recalibrate, sending a signal that you're safe and that there's no immediate threat. This in turn reduces the flood of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, allowing your mind to regain clarity and focus. Other ways to describe grounding might include anchoring yourself, reconnecting to the present, or finding your center. These terms all point to the same goal, creating a sense of stability and calm when things feel unmanageable. Okay, and here are some ways you can help ground yourself. First, you can ground yourself physically. When stress or anxiety take hold, your body often feels tense, restless, or disconnected. Physical grounding techniques help you reconnect with your body and the present moment, allowing you to feel more stable and secure. They act as a reset for your nervous system, calming the physical effects of stress and creating a sense of safety. Okay, number one, something you can do is plant your feet on the floor. One of the simplest and most effective grounding techniques is to physically anchor yourself by focusing on your feet. Sit down if possible. Place both feet flat on the floor and press them firmly against the ground. Feel the connection between your feet and the earth, imagining the floor supporting and stabilizing you. If it helps, picture roots growing from the soles of your feet into the ground, keeping you steady and secure. This technique helps signal to your brain that you are physically stable, and that in turn can help calm the stress response. Another option, number two, is deep breathing. Breathing is a powerful tool for grounding. When we're stressed, our breathing tends to become shallow and rapid, which can intensify our feelings of panic. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Let your stomach expand fully and then exhale gently through your mouth. And try a simple rhythm like the 4-7-8 technique, which means that you inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7, and exhale for 8. This will activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for calming your body. Something else that you can do is to use a comforting object. Sometimes holding a physical object can help anchor you. Choose something with a texture or weight that feels reassuring. It could be a smooth stone, a soft piece of fabric. It could even be a warm mug of tea. Focus on the sensations it creates in your hands. Is it cool or warm? Smooth or rough? Heavy or light? This sensory focus can pull your attention away from racing thoughts and back into the present, back to the here and now. Another technique is body scanning, where you focus your attention on different parts of your body, noticing any sensations or tension. Start at the top of your head and slowly work your way down to your toes. Notice how each part feels without judgment. Does it feel tight, relaxed, warm, cool? As you scan, imagine releasing any tension with each exhale of your breath, leaving your body feeling lighter and more grounded. Something else that you can do is what is called progressive muscle relaxation, which involves tensing and then releasing different muscle groups in your body to relieve tension. Start with your feet. Clench them tightly for 5 seconds and then relax them. Move to your calves. Tense for 5 seconds, then relax. Your thighs, your stomach, and so on. Finishing with your shoulders and your hands. This practice not only reduces a physical tension, it also shifts your focus away from stress and into the present. By grounding yourself physically, you are reminding your body and mind that you are safe and supported in the present moment. And these simple, tangible actions can help bring you out of your head and into your body and give you a stable foundation from which to handle whatever stress you're facing. And of course, the more you practice these techniques, the easier it becomes to access them in moments where you truly need them. All right. We can also think about grounding ourselves mentally and emotionally. So grounding yourself mentally and emotionally allows you to regain balance and clarity again when stress feels overwhelming. While mental grounding focuses on calming racing thoughts and anchoring your mind in the present, emotional grounding involves recognizing, naming, and soothing your feelings to prevent them from taking over. And together, these approaches can help you feel more centered and in control. So let me just give you a couple of examples here. So a mental grounding technique that you might want to try is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. And this is one that I really like. And this is about engaging your senses to bring your attention to the present moment. So you might notice 5 things that you can see. So if you're sitting in your room, that could be a plant, a piece of art, the colour of the walls, etc. Then identify 4 things you can feel. You can feel your fingertips and notice the grooves in your fingertips. You can feel your feet on the floor, as we were just talking about with grounding. You can feel the fabric of your clothes, but you want to identify 4 things that you can feel. Then listen for 3 things that you can hear. Maybe it's the traffic outside. Maybe it's the birds outside. Maybe it's a clock ticking. Next, smell 2 things. What can you smell? Could be food, coffee, a candle, fresh air, the body lotion you're wearing. And then finally, taste 1 thing. What is 1 thing that you can taste? So you can, notice the aftertaste of the coffee that you had earlier, or you might want to pop a mint in your mouth and focus on what that tastes like. This simple exercise redirects your attention to your surroundings and helps your mind to settle. Something else that you can do is to label your thoughts. So when stress consumes you, it can help to step back and identify the thoughts fueling it. So for example, if you're thinking, I'm failing here, you could reframe it as, this is my fear talking. Labeling thoughts reduces their intensity and creates distance between you and the stress. So when you're thinking I'm failing, you can think I'm having the thought that I'm failing and it's my fear talking. It's my fear, it's trying to protect you. But label your thoughts as thoughts to get yourself some distance from them. Okay. Something else you can do with your brain when it is spiraling is give it a simple task to focus on that requires quite a lot of its attention. That could be something such as counting backwards from 100. You could decide to count back from 100 3 times, and you could do that, or you could decide to list items starting with a specific letter. These tasks demand enough concentration to interrupt the stress cycle. Something that's just occurring to me as I'm sort of thinking about this now that I might try is, Wordle on my phone. If you wanted to really refocus your thoughts towards something else to give yourself a break from them, maybe you could do a quick Wordle on your phone. Okay, and then we've got emotional grounding, which is about soothing our feelings. And it's about, instead of letting emotions like anxiety and anger and frustration take over, it's about allowing ourselves to acknowledge them and feel them and to be with them, rather than to try and escape them or think there's something wrong with them and push them away. And ways that can help us do this is, first, we can name them. Identifying and naming your feelings. I am feeling anxious right now, or I am feeling frustrated or scared or worried. Naming our feelings acknowledges our emotions, it validates them, and that alone helps us reduce their intensity and gives the space to process them. Something else that we can do when we notice our emotions is talk to ourselves in a comforting way. So if we feel overwhelmed, we might say, this is hard and I'm doing my best. Or it's okay to feel this way, I will get through it. Journaling is also helpful when we're talking about our emotions. Writing down your feelings, no matter how messy or raw, can allow you to get some distance from them and help you to process them more clearly. Remember, by integrating mental and emotional grounding techniques, you're addressing both the thoughts and feelings that are contributing to stress. And so doing a couple of those together can be incredibly useful and helpful.
All right, something else I want to talk to you about is interrupting the stress response through physical movement. Movement can massively help us proactively, but we can also, it can help us reactively as well in terms of stress. So when stress takes hold, your body reacts automatically, activating the fight or flight response. This natural mechanism is designed to help you face danger, but in today's world, it's often triggered by situations that don't require a physical escape, like a tense conversation, a looming deadline, or a busy schedule. The result is that your body stays in a heightened state of tension with nowhere for that pent-up energy to go. This is where physical movement becomes a powerful tool for interrupting the stress response and bringing your body back to balance. When your fight or flight system is activated, as we were talking about before, stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol flood your body, preparing it for action. Physical movement gives your body the outlet it needs to use this energy constructively. It signals to your nervous system that the perceived threat has passed and allows your body to shift into a calmer, more regulated state. Here are some simple ways that you can incorporate movement into your life. You can take a walk, okay? Even a short walk can be incredibly grounding. Focus on the sensation of your feet hitting the ground and the rhythm of your steps. Walking not only helps release physical tension, but also provides mental clarity, especially if you're outside and can connect with nature. You can also do some things that are stretching and releasing. Stress often causes muscles to tighten, leading to discomfort and a sense of physical heaviness. Gentle stretches, like reaching your arms over your head or rolling your shoulders back, can relieve tension. And yoga-inspired movements, such as a forward fold or the child's pose, are particularly effective for calming your body and mind. Something else you can do is shake it out. So if you're feeling jittery or restless, try shaking your hands or arms or legs to release excess energy. It might feel silly, but it's a simple and effective way to let your body discharge tension. Or even better, dance it out. Put on your favourite music and let yourself move freely. Dancing not only releases energy, but also boosts endorphins, helping to lift your mood and shift your focus away from the stressor. The beauty of movement is that it works on both a physical and a mental level. While it helps your body release stress hormones, it also redirects your attention away from the stressor. And by focusing on sensations of moving, whether it's the stretch of your muscles, the rhythm of your steps, or the beat of the music, you pull yourself out of your racing thoughts and back into the present moment. Okay, something else I want to talk about is allowing your emotions. I guess we tapped on that. We talked about this a little bit when we were talking about grounding, but I think that we can look into that in a bit more detail. So in the moment, stress can trigger strong emotions like frustration, sadness, or anger. And instead of pushing these feelings away, it's really important to acknowledge them and to, as we talked about earlier, say things like, I'm feeling really sad right now, and that's okay. And this simple act of acceptance can reduce the intensity of the emotion and help you move through it more easily. All right. Something else, again, relating to kind of the grounding techniques is having a calming phrase or mantra that you turn to in times of stress. So phrases like "this too shall pass" or "I'm capable of handling this" can remind you that the stress is temporary and that you have the tools to deal with it. So choose a phrase that resonates with you and practice it regularly so that it becomes second nature in challenging moments. Something else that you can do that's really important is to tap into support. So when stress feels overwhelming, reaching out to someone you trust can make a world of difference. Stress thrives in isolation, magnifying worries and making challenges seem larger than they are. By connecting with others, you can gain perspective, reassurance, and a reminder that you're not alone. If the moment allows, consider reaching out with a quick phone call or a text or even a brief conversation. It doesn't need to be a deep or lengthy discussion. Sometimes just saying, "I'm feeling really stressed right now," to someone else is enough to lighten the emotional load. Sharing your thoughts and feelings helps externalize them,
making them feel less overwhelming and giving you the space to process them more clearly. The act of connecting itself can also be really helpful. Hearing a friendly voice or receiving an empathetic response can calm your nervous system, reminding you that you are supported. A trusted friend and a family member might offer a different perspective on the situation, helping you see solutions you hadn't considered, or reassuring you that what you're experiencing is temporary and manageable. Okay, so if you're specifically reaching out to someone for support, there's a few things that you can do that might help. You can be more specific about what you need. Let the person you're speaking to know how they can help. For example, say, "I just need someone to listen," or "Could you help me think this through?" This helps avoid misunderstandings and ensures you get the support that you actually want. Also, choose the person you reach out to wisely. Reach out to someone who is calm and empathetic and likely to understand, especially if you're feeling vulnerable. Avoid individuals who might minimize your feelings or make the situation more stressful. And open yourself up to receiving help. Sometimes stress can make you feel like you handle everything alone. Remind yourself that seeking support isn't weakness, it's a strength. Letting others help you lightens the load, and it also helps strengthen those relationships too. And again, it might be that if you find yourself feeling stressed frequently or struggling to manage it on your own, you might want to consider seeking professional support from a coach, a counsellor, or a therapist. And tapping into support, again, doing this will remind you that stress doesn't have to be faced alone. Okay, one more thing I want to mention is that it can be helpful to kind of set boundaries for the aftermath of a stressful situation. When the immediate stress has passed, set a boundary to help you decompress. This might mean turning off work notifications, taking a relaxing bath, or journaling to process your thoughts, or taking a holiday on the other end of the scale. Proactively giving yourself recovery time ensures that stress doesn't linger longer than necessary. And remember, in the moment, managing stress is about creating space between the situation and your reaction. And by using these strategies, you will be empowering yourself to respond with clarity and intention, even when the pressure feels intense. Next, I want to change tack somewhat and talk about nourishing your body to support stress. What you eat can have a significant impact on how your body handles stress, both in the short term and the long term. When you're under pressure, it's tempting to reach for comfort foods, often those that are high in sugar or ultra-processed ingredients. And whilst they might provide that temporary boost in energy, it's normally very fleeting and can actually worsen stress because it disrupts your energy levels and your mood. And in particular, ultra-processed foods, which are those that have been heavily modified and contain artificial ingredients and additives like preservatives and sweeteners and flavour enhancers. So we're thinking crisps, fizzy drinks, packaged snacks, many ready meals. These foods are often low in essential nutrients and high in sugar, unhealthy fats and salt. And when you consume them, your blood sugar levels can spike rapidly, giving you a quick energy boost, but this is soon followed by a crash. And this roller coaster of energy can leave you feeling more irritable, tired, and less able to handle stress effectively. High sugar foods in particular can exacerbate the stress response. When your blood sugar levels fluctuate, your body releases stress hormones such as cortisol to stabilize it. And over time, it also releases insulin, but also cortisol. Over time, frequent blood sugar spikes can help your body in a heightened state of stress. It can keep your body in a heightened state of stress, making it harder for you to manage challenging situations calmly. Additionally, ultra-processed foods and sugary foods can disrupt the gut-brain connection. Your gut health plays a crucial role in regulating mood and stress levels, as it produces a large portion of your body's serotonin, a key hormone that stabilizes your mood and promotes feelings of well-being. And a diet heavy in UPFs, ultra-processed foods, can negatively affect your gut microbiome, leading to imbalances that make you more prone to stress and anxiety. Nourishing your body with whole, nutrient-rich foods can help stabilize your mood, help you maintain steady energy levels, and help you strengthen your body's ability to cope with stress.
And when you prioritize good nutrition, you're giving your body the tools it needs to function optimally, even or especially during challenging times. So some very simple nutrition aspects to consider. Number one, include protein in every meal. Protein helps stabilize your blood sugar and keeps you feeling fuller for longer, reducing the likelihood of energy crashes and mood swings that can worsen stress. So aim for lean proteins like chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, or legumes, as well as healthy snacks like nuts and seeds. Number two, prioritize complex carbohydrates, such as whole grains, oats, and sweet potatoes that provide a steady release of energy and support serotonin production in the brain over less simple carbohydrates or refined carbohydrates, because they cause blood sugar spikes that help you create inconsistent energy levels and inconsistent focus. Number three, incorporate healthy fats. Omega-3 fatty acids found in foods like salmon, mackerel, walnuts are particularly beneficial for brain health and stress management. These fats help reduce inflammation and promote a sense of calm and focus. Also consider your micronutrients, so your vitamins and minerals. These also play a critical role in stress regulation. So for example, magnesium, found in leafy greens and nuts and seeds, helps relax muscles and calm the nervous system. Vitamin B6, bananas, chicken and potatoes, supports the production of serotonin, which helps you give a sense of feeling good. Zinc, found in shellfish, pumpkin seeds and beans, helps you regulate the stress response. Also important is staying hydrated. Dehydration can exacerbate feelings of stress and fatigue, so ensure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day. Okay, and also limit stimulants. Caffeine, it can provide a quick pick-me-up, but too much can increase cortisol levels and leave you feeling jittery or anxious. If you're sensitive to caffeine, consider switching to herbal teas or decaffeinated options. All right. And of course, the other thing I want to dive into a bit more detail is exercise. So we talked about this a bit already, I think, but beyond its physical benefits, regular movement plays a vital role in reducing the mental and emotional load of stress. When you're stressed, as we talked about before, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline as part of the flight or flight response. And exercise helps metabolize these stress hormones, preventing them from lingering in your system, which not only calms your nervous system, but also reduces the physical tension that often accompanies stress. Exercise also triggers the release of endorphins, your body's natural mood enhancers. These chemicals interact with receptors in your brain to reduce the perception of pain and produce feelings of euphoria, often referred to as runner's high. And over time, regular movement can boost your overall mood, leaving you more resistant to daily stressors. Also, exercise provides that mental break. When you're physically active, your focus shifts away from stressors, allowing your mind to recharge. Also, what I want to talk about then is the power of sleep for stress management. So sleep is one of the most powerful tools, again, for helping us with stress. It's often the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy. And the relationship between sleep and stress is deeply interconnected. Stress can make it difficult to sleep, while poor sleep can exacerbate stress. So it's important to break the cycle to help you restore balance and resilience. When you're stressed, your body produces cortisol, a hormone that keeps you alert and ready to handle challenges. And while this response is useful in small doses, chronic stress can keep cortisol levels elevated, disrupting your natural sleep-wake cycle. This makes it harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, or achieve the deep restorative rest your body needs to recover. And on the other hand, insufficient or poor quality sleep increases your body's sensitivity to stress. When you're tired, your ability to regulate emotions and think clearly diminishes, leaving you more reactive and less equipped to handle daily challenges. And over time, of course, this can create a vicious cycle where stress and sleep issues feed into one another. So what can you do to help you with your sleep? Sometimes we talk about improving our sleep hygiene. And it's important to prioritize both the quantity and the quality of the rest that you're getting, the sleep that you're getting. So you may have heard of some of these before. You can, or it really helps to create a relaxing bedtime routine. Having a relaxing bedtime routine signals to your body that it's time to wind down. And this might look like reading a book, taking a warm bath, or practicing gentle stretching or mindfulness exercises. It's also important to stick to a consistent schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. A regular sleep schedule will help you regulate your internal body clock, which will then make it easier to fall asleep and wake up naturally. Also limit screen time before bed, because the blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and computers interferes with melatonin production, which is a hormone essential for sleep. So aim to turn off screens at least an hour before bed, or use a blue light filter if needed. Also take steps to optimize your sleep environment. So ensure your bedroom is cool and dark and quiet. Invest in comfortable bedding. Consider using blackout curtains if you think that might help, or white noise machines to minimize disruptions. And again, watch what you consume. Avoid caffeine and large meals leading up to bedtime. I suggest that you aim to not eat anything for at least 2 or 3 hours before you go to sleep. And if your mind is whirring when you go to bed, try journaling or writing a to-do list to offload your worries. You might also want to experiment with breathing exercises or visualization, which can also help you clear your mind. So when you prioritize restorative sleep, you are helping your body handle stress more effectively, because with sufficient rest, you'll wake up feeling more focused and emotionally balanced. Sleep isn't just a passive activity, it is an active investment in your well-being and resilience. Okay, so lastly then, what I want to touch on is strategies to help you if you consider yourself a stress eater. This is something I help people with in the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy and the other Lose Weight, Live Life programs, alongside everything else that we do is related to weight wellness. But I wanted to give you a few pointers to get you started. So, stress eating, or turning to food as a way to comfort yourself with emotional discomfort, is a common challenge. It's normal, and it often stems from a combination of habit, physiological responses, and the temporary relief that food provides during stressful moments. But whilst it might feel soothing in the short term, stress eating can lead to feelings of guilt, frustration, and a sense of being out of control. And also it does put additional physiological stress on our body as well if we are overeating and emotionally eating. And so if you want to help yourself with this, then what you want to do is develop strategies that help you address the underlying causes and find healthier, more sustainable ways to help yourself. Important in doing this is to recognize the patterns. So the first step in overcoming stress eating is to notice when it happens. Start paying attention to your triggers. Is it a stressful day at work that triggers you? Is it more about conflict at home? Or is it a general sense of overwhelm? It can be helpful to keep a journal to help you spot patterns in your eating behavior and identify the specific emotions or situations that have you reaching for food. Also, when you feel the urge to eat in response to stress, pause. This isn't about denying yourself or using willpower. This is about creating space to reflect. This is about asking yourself questions to find out if you're physically hungry or if you're trying to soothe an emotion. If it's the latter, name the feeling. Is it anxiety, frustration, boredom, or something else? Remember, as we were talking about earlier, recognizing your emotions can help you. It's like the first step in enabling you to process them and to work through them. And that can be helpful because you're not turning to food. You might also want to consider building a toolbox of alternative coping mechanisms. So once you've identified that you're eating for stress rather than hunger, the next step is to explore other ways to cope. And that might look like taking a short walk to clear your mind, practicing deep breathing exercises, writing in a journal to process your emotions, calling or texting a friend or family member for support, engaging in a hobby such as drawing, knitting, or reading. Also, a lot of the work that we do in the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy is around reframing our thinking using the mindset model and other techniques, as well as teaching you how to feel the emotion instead of responding and reacting to it. Also, it's really important, of course, that you are nourishing your body properly. So skipping meals or eating foods that cause blood sugar spikes can leave you more vulnerable to cravings during stressful moments. So make it a priority to eat balanced meals, as I mentioned earlier, include that protein, those healthy fats, those complex carbohydrates, and also those micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals, as well as staying hydrated. And again, set yourself up for supporting yourself with this. If stress eating is a struggle, consider making small changes to your surroundings. Keep nourishing snacks like nuts and yogurt or fruit readily available, and chuck out all of those snacks full of added sugar and ultra processed ingredients. Store highly tempting foods if you do want to have them in the house out of sight to reduce impulsive eating. And also, you might want to designate specific areas for eating, such as you sit at the dining room table, and avoid eating whilst watching television or scrolling your phone. Also, really important with stress eating and emotional eating is practicing self-compassion. Stress eating is a learned behaviour, often developed over years, and changing it takes time. If you find yourself stress eating, resist the urge to criticise yourself and acknowledge that you're human and that you're working on it. Replacing self-judgment with curiosity, you might ask yourself what you can learn from each time you notice yourself stress or emotionally eating, and think about how you might approach it differently next time. And again, taking care of everything else that we've been talking about here today in terms of how you can proactively support yourself with stress, as well as support yourself with in the moment stress, putting all of those tools into place is massively going to help you reduce your stress eating. So do use all of those to help you as well if stress eating is what you're mostly concerned about. And finally, if you do decide to eat during a stressful moment, do so mindfully. Don't find yourself trying to eat the food as quickly as possible because you feel bad about eating it. Slow down and savor each bite and pay attention to the taste and the texture and the satisfaction of the food. Okay? Mindful eating can help you break the autopilot response of stress eating, and it helps you create that more positive relationship with food and with yourself. Overcoming stress eating isn't about never turning to food for comfort again. It's about balance. It's about making gradual progress towards healthier habits. So don't forget to celebrate your small wins. Pause to reflect before eating or choosing an alternative coping mechanism. Appreciate yourself for doing that as well. Okay, so thank you for listening thus far. As I come to the end really of this two-part exploration of stress, I just want to take a moment to reflect on what we've covered and where you can go from here. So stress is an unavoidable part of life, but how you approach and manage it can make a world of difference to your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So in the first of these two-part podcast series, we delved into what stress is and how it impacts you. We looked at the fine line between feeling in control and tipping into overwhelm, as well as the role of chronic low-level stress and how that plays out in our lives, especially for busy women juggling countless demands. We also explored the patterns of self-judgment and stress eating that often accompany stress, and why recognizing these patterns is the first step towards change. And then today, we've turned our focus to actionable strategies. We've talked about proactive stress management. We've talked about building resilience. We've talked about habits and boundaries and preparation to help us with that building of resilience. And we've talked about reactive stress management for when life throws you unexpected challenges. We've touched on grounding techniques, the benefits of nourishing your body, movement, how to create a healthier relationship with stress-induced behaviours like emotional eating. And what's important to remember is that managing stress isn't about perfection or eliminating challenges, because that's never going to happen. It's about finding tools and strategies that work for you so you can navigate stress with greater confidence and control. So with the insights you've gained here, you can start making small, meaningful changes that are going to help you build your resilience to stress over time. And remember, you don't have to tackle this all on your own. So whether it's through community, coaching, or simply sharing your experiences with someone who understands, know that support is always available to you. And also know that your well-being is worth the effort, because every step you take will bring you closer to being calmer and feeling more balanced. Stress may always be a part of life, but with the right mindset and tools, it doesn't have to define it. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and are ready to live a more intentional life, lose weight as a part of that journey, and create a relationship with food and yourself that you love, then I would be honoured to have you join the Lose Weight, Live Life Academy membership and coach with me. The programme offers different levels of support to suit you, including self-paced learning, twice weekly calls, private coaching, an amazingly caring community, and lots more. Find out all the details about when and how you can join at www.thebestyou.coach/coaching.